The following Zoom session is being recorded and will appear later today on my YouTube channel, Math with Mayo. There are two different classes that may be observing this session. Therefore, when you participate in the Zoom meeting, if you do not wish for your picture or your name to be made public, please leave the video off and use an alias name. If you have questions during the meeting but do not wish to speak, email me at bmail@ybcc.edu and I'll respond as soon as I can. All right, so today we're going to review for the Chapter 8 test, which will be on Monday. You can take the test anytime between now and Monday night at 11:59 p.m. But again, keep in mind, once you open the test, the time will start. Also a reminder, Tuesday coming up is advising day, so there will be no class on Tuesday. So basically, unless you come to my office hour, which I'll have today at 1:15 and Monday at 1:15, unless you come to my office hour, I won't see you again until Wednesday. All right, having said all that, let's go ahead and get started. So the first request comes from section 8.5, problem number 10. This is an absolute value equation. It says, solve the equation, enter your answers as a comma-separated list. And we have the following. The absolute value of 6x minus 3, and then plus 9 equals 24. So we have an equation containing one absolute value expression. So the first thing we're going to do is isolate that expression by subtracting 9 from both sides of the equation, which gives us the absolute value of 6x minus 3 equals 15. So now we have two possible equations. The first one is 6x minus 3 equals 15. The second one is 6x minus 3 equals negative 15. Solving the equation on the left, adding 3 to both sides, we get 6x equals 18. Divide both sides by 6, x equals 3. Solving the equation on the right, add 3 to both sides, we get 6x equals negative 12. Divide both sides by 6, x equals negative 2. Let's check our work. We'll take the x equals 3, and we would get the absolute value of 6 times 3 minus 3, and then plus 9 equals 24. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 minus 3 is 15. The absolute value of 15 is 15, and 15 plus 9 equals 24. So x equals 3 is correct. If x is negative 2, we get the absolute value of 6 times negative 2 minus 3 plus 9 equals 24. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Negative 12 minus 3 is negative 15. The absolute value of negative 15 is 15. 15 plus 9, 24 equals 24. So in this case, both solutions are correct. Any questions on that before I go to some other problems? Okay. So now let's see here. Chapter review. Okay. This is from the Chapter 8 review. And this is problem number 1. It says, let f of x equal 4x plus 3 and g of a equal a squared minus 4a plus 4 all over 7. And then we are to find the function value g of 9. Let's look at another situation for a minute. Suppose I said it is 10 miles to Rome. It is 15 miles to Paris. it is 4 miles to Moxie. Okay, suppose those were the given facts. Let's say the question was, how far is it to Paris? Would you use all of that information to answer that question? No, you would only use the information available that was pertinent to the question. So it's 15 miles. To answer this question, we don't care how far it is to Rome or how far it is to Moxie, right? We only use the information that's relevant to the question. Now, let's go back to this problem. They give us two functions. They give us the f of x function and the g of a function. But the question says, what is g of 9? So even though f of x equals 4x plus 3 may be a true statement, it's not really relevant for the problem. So we don't do anything with it, okay? So g of 9, we're going to get, let's see here, g of 9 is going to be 9 squared minus 4 times 9 plus 4 all over 7. 9 squared is 81. Minus 4 times 9 is minus 36 plus 4 over 7. Let's see, 81 minus 36 would be what, 45? Is that right? Minus or plus 4 over 7, which is 49 over 7, which is 7. So g of 9 equals 7. So final answer 7. Again, even though this may be true, we don't use it in the problem. All right, any questions about that? Let's take a look at, again in the chapter 8 review, number 2, which is pretty similar. In fact, let's see here. Yeah. It says let f of x equal 9x plus 8 and g of a equal a squared minus 4a plus 4 all over 4. Find g of negative 2. So once again, we don't use the f of x function because they're only asking us something about the g of x function. So g of negative 2 is negative 2 the quantity squared minus 4 times negative 2 plus 4 all over 4. Negative 2 the quantity squared is 4, and then minus 4 times negative 2 would be plus 8, and then plus 4 again, which is 16 over 4 or 4. So g of negative 2 equals 4. All right, well, those are the questions that people emailed me. So now, do any of you have any questions here?
Yeah, could you do questions 7 and 8 from the review?
All righty, give me just a minute to pull
Okay.
those problems up. Let's see. You must be in the other section. Okay, so there you are. Chapter review. Which questions now?
7 and 8.
7 and 8. Okay. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and pull those up on a screen. Actually, I'll just, let's see, give me just a second here to set things up. I don't like to use the double screen unless I have to because it's not as easy to work with, but I think it'll be better for you to be able to see the problems. So, okay. You said 7 and 8, right?
Yeah.
So now can you see the WebAssign screen?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right. The property tax in a certain country varies directly as assessed valuation. If a tax of $1,665 is charged on a single family home, assessed at $96,000. Determine the property tax on an apartment complex assessed at $288,000. All right, so we've got property tax varies directly as assessed value. How about if we, let's see here, come on, it's not going to let me. Here we go. So let the property tax equal, how about big P, and assessed valuation is going to equal A. Okay, so P will stand for property tax and A will stand for assessed valuation or valuation. It says the property tax in a certain country varies directly as assessed valuation. So P equals KA would be our initial formula using direct variation. Okay, any questions about that?
No.
If a tax of $16.65 is charged, so that is the P, so $16.65 equals K times on a single family home assessed at $96,000. Okay. Determine the property tax, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so at this point, we want to determine what K is. So we're going to divide both sides of this equation by $96,000. The dollars over dollars would cross out. So I've got 1665 divided by 96,000. Let's see here. I'm looking it over again because I didn't get a nice number.
No, I didn't either.
So I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I could take 1665 over 96,000 and I could reduce it down, you know, take out a 5, blah, blah, blah. But all they really want is the final answer. So I'm actually going to just keep this whole thing. I'll get rid of the dollar signs, but I'm just going to go with 1665 over 96,000. And suffice, if they were asking me specifically what is K, I would take that and reduce it down. Like, for instance, I can take a 5 out and maybe some other things. But for the purposes of what we're trying to accomplish, that's good enough. Okay. So now I've got this. P equals 1665 over 96,000. But what I don't want to do is round it off. For instance, as a decimal, I got 0.01734,375, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm going to stick with this. So now P equals that number times A. Okay. Determine the property tax on an apartment complex assessed at $288,000. So now I've got this times that. Okay. So 1665 times 288,000 divided by 96,000. And that comes out as a nice value, 4995. And if I'd wanted to, for instance, I could have crossed out those and made the numbers smaller, et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
Okay.
So the secret to that was just leave K alone.
Yeah.
But again, if they wanted us to reduce that down, we could, but to find the final answer, it doesn't affect it. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, they kind of threw you a curveball, didn't they? All right, let's take a look at number 8. Similar situation. For a fixed voltage, the current in an electrical circuit varies inversely as the resistance in the circuit. If a certain circuit has a current of 2.5 amps, when the resistance is 150 ohms, find the current in the circuit when the resistance is doubled. Okay. So the voltage is fixed throughout this problem, so we don't need to do anything with that. We're going to use, let's see, let the current equal C, and let's see, what else have we got? Circuit and the resistance. Resistance equals resistance. What are we doing here? Can't spell. Equals, how about R? Okay. So the current in an electrical circuit varies inversely as the resistance in this circuit. So C equals K over R because it said inversely. Okay. Any questions about that?
No.
All right. Now, if a certain circuit has a current of 2.5 amps, so we've got two, I'm going to change that to decimal, okay, 2.5. When the resistance is 150 ohms, the reason I changed it from 2.5 to 2.5 is because in the next step, I'm going to multiply, and it's a little trickier to multiply a mixed number than it is a decimal number, okay? So 150 times 2.5. So K is 375. Okay, let's see here. Right now, that gives us C equals 375 over R. Find the current in the circuit. When the resistance is doubled. So the resistance was 150 ohms. Now it's going to be 300 ohms. Okay.
Mhm.
So we're going to take 375 divided by 300, and we get 1.25, and that is amps, as we see over here. Righty? Okay, any other questions? Anybody, any other questions you'd like to look at?
Can't find him. The mouse is here for treat.
Yeah, do you know where the bottle's at?
I found it.
He only, I think.
Janet,
does it.
we can hear you.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So anybody, any other questions you want to look at?
Yeah, can we go back to this chapter, the 8.9?
Okay. So 8.9. Which one or ones?
We only used a little.
Which one?
I'm looking now.
Oh, okay.
Chapter question 11 and then 13 to 15. I'm just having trouble setting it up. Like, I don't know why word problems are so hard for me to set up. Because once you do it with me, I'm like, oh, it makes perfect sense.
Take heart. People struggle with word problems. All right. Solve the problem by writing a variation model. All right. So this is number 11. An object in free fall travels a distance s that is directly proportional to the square of time t. So s equals kt squared. Any questions about that?
No.
All right. If an object falls 784 feet, so that's s, in 7 seconds, don't forget the time is squared, okay? How far will it fall in 11 seconds? So first of all, we've got to, 7 squared is 49, so we've got 49k. Divide both sides by 49. K equals, let's see, 784 divided by 49. Now this comes out to a nice number, 16. So now S equals 16 t squared. So we use this information. Let's see here. Where are we? All of this gets us to set up our, our formula. Okay. Then we plug in the information to determine K. Then we put K back into the general formula to make it specific. Then it says, how far will it fall in 11 seconds? So S equals 16 times 11 squared, which is 16 times 121, which is 16 times 121, which is 1936, and that is feet. So the choice over here, the one that has the key by it there, of course. Okay.
Okay.
And then you said to just keep going down the page.
And then just, yeah, basically 13, 14, 15 other word problems for me.
Okay, let's take a look at 13. Sorry, what was the last? Okay, 13. Solve the problem by writing a variation model. The number of days that a given number of bushels of corn will last when feeding cattle varies inversely as the number of animals. Okay, so let's call number of days. What if we call that N? And number of animals. We'll call, let's see, if can't use in both. How about we'll use A for animals? So maybe I should use, we'll use D for days and A for animals, okay?
Okay.
All right. And again, it doesn't matter what you call it, but establish it so that you know what it is you're talking about when you're dealing with each variable. The number of days that a given number of bushels of corn will last when feeding cattle, so D, varies inversely as the number of animals. Okay, so D equals K over A. It says if X bushels will feed 24 cows in 11 days, how long will the feed last for 11 cows? Now, this is where things get a little bit confusing. In fact, I want to go back to, let's see, where was it? I can't remember where it was, but we did a problem earlier when, they doubled the resistance, but I think something, the voltage or something stayed the same. So if something is staying the same in the problem, typically you don't use it. So it says if X bushels will feed 24 cows in 11 days, how long will the feed, which is the X bushels, last for 11 cows? So basically the X bushels, a given amount, it isn't going to change, so we don't use it in the equation. All right, so what do we know? It says we can feed 24 cows for 11 days. So the number of days was D, so that's 11. The number of cows was A, so that's 24. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to multiply both sides by 24. And if we take 11 times 24, we get 264. So now D equals 264 over A. How long will the feed last? So that's the number of days for 11 cows. Okay. And 264 divided by 11 is 24 days. Okay. So the idea is if you've got the same amount of feed and you end up feeding less cows, you can feed them longer, right? Anyway, you okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. And then you said 14?
Yeah.
Okay. Solve the problem by writing a variation model. Under constant temperature, so there's a clue. The temperature isn't going to change. We aren't going to use it in the problem. Under a constant temperature, the volume occupied by a gas varies inversely to the pressure applied. So volume is going to be V and pressure applied, we'll call that P. So volume is V, pressure is P. The volume occupied by a gas varies inversely to the pressure applied. So V equals K over P. All right. If the gas occupies a volume of 22 cubic inches under a pressure of 6 pounds per square inch, okay, so we can take that and use it to solve for K. Let's see, 22, oops, 22 times 6, 132. So volume equals 132 over pressure. Find the volume when the gas is subjected to a pressure of 11 pounds per square inch. Okay, so 132 divided by 11 is 12, and that's cubic inches. Okay with that one?
Yeah, that made perfect sense.
Okay, 15, yes, no?
Yeah.
All righty. Solve the problem by writing a variation model. The costs of a trucking company, so costs will be C, varies jointly as the number of trucks in service. But if we call number of trucks, we'll call that in. Oh, and the number of hours they are used. So number of hours is going to be H. Joint variation, right? So we've got 3 different variables here. The costs of a trucking company, so C, equals, or something varies jointly as the number of trucks in service and the number of hours they are used. Okay. Again, K isn't mentioned, but you got to put it in there because you got to find it. When 4 trucks are used for 6 hours each, the costs are $1776. So 1776 equals K times the number of trucks was 4, the number of hours was 6. All right. So that gives us, let's see, 4 times 6 is 24K. We'll divide both sides by 24. And let's see here. 1776 divided by 24 is 74. All right. So C equals 74 in H. Find the costs using 9 trucks. So that's in each for 12 hours. All right. So $74 times 9 times 12 is $7,992. There's our total cost. All righty.
Sweet.
Any more of those? You want me to keep going, or are you good?
No, I'm good for that one.
Okay. Anything else from you or anybody else? That's why we're here. Anybody? Anything you want to look at?
I mean, I don't mind if I keep going. No one else is doing it.
Go ahead. Nobody else.
Chapter 8 review. I know we just kind of just did it right now,
Okay,
but
okay.
number 7 and 8.
Okay, hang on. Let's see. Chapter 8 review. You said number 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Which is more of the same kind of stuff.
Yeah, it'd be nice just to go over again for me.
No problem. That's what they pay me the big bucks for. Okay.
Good.
You betcha. Number 7, the property tax in a certain country varies directly as assessed valuation. So this is very
Similar, yeah.
in fact, I think,
Actually, yeah.
yeah, these are the exact same numbers that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes they're random, sometimes the same problem is different for different people. But yeah, these are the exact same.
Oh yeah, I didn't even
numbers.
realize that.
You want me to pull up some different numbers?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. It's just nice practice for me.
Sure, okay. Let's see what I can do here. So this is from the chapter review, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's see here. Okay, so here's some slightly different numbers.
Okay.
But same ideas. Okay, the property tax varies directly as assessed valuation. So property tax is going to be P, assessed valuation is going to be A. So the property tax varies directly as the assessed valuation. That's a strange word, valuation. I wouldn't even think that was a word. Okay, moving on, sorry. If a tax of 1620, so that's P, is charged on a single family home assessed at $96,000, determine the property tax on an apartment complex assessed at $300,800. So we've got to solve for K. So the dollar signs will cross out. I could get rid of a zero if I wanted to on top and bottom. I'm not going to bother because I'm using a calculator. 1620 divided by 96,000. And I get, oh yeah, this is another one
Yeah,
of
that
those.
weird one.
Okay, so in that case, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of one of the zeros. So I'm going to let K, oh, I guess I've got it down here. K is going to equal 162 over 9,600. And again, I could reduce that down, but they're not really asking me in the final answer for K. So there's no big advantage to that. All right. So
Okay.
equals 162. Again, if they specifically asked me to find K in the problem, I would have reduced that down as far as I could. Okay, so we've got this now. Determine the property tax on an apartment complex assessed at $300,800. Okay, so, again, I could get rid of those two zeros and those two zeros if I wanted to. It's not going to affect the final answer. 162 times 300 divided by 96. And I get $50,625. Let's see if that's right. Let's see. 60,000. No, 50,000 helps if you do the right thing. $50,625. Yay. What? Says I'm wrong. Okay. Let's see. Oh. All right, that's okay. Don't panic. I'll panic. Let's see here. Property tax is 1620 times, that's okay, assessed at 96,000. We divided both sides by 96,000. So then I got rid of 1 0. 96,000, 308,000. Oh, you know what I did? I forgot this 8 right here. I didn't see it.
300,800.
Yeah.
Oh.
3,000. Okay, so 162. You know what? I'm going to put on my glasses. Good idea. Times 3008 divided by 96. And we get 5076. Yeah, there's a good reason why I should put on my glasses. Yeah. I guess the answer to that is don't let me do your property taxes. 5076. I'm glad that I checked my answer here because it was wrong. Finally.
Sweet, there it
Yeah.
goes.
All right. And then this next one.
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else has questions or anything.
Well, if they do, they can jump right in. For a fixed voltage, the current varies inversely as the resistance in the current. So the current varies inversely as the resistance. Okay. C is current, R is resistance. If a certain circuit has a current of 3.5 amps, so 3.5 amps, resistance is 150 ohms. All right. So again, I changed it to 3.5 just because it's easier to deal with a decimal than a mixed number. So 3.5 divided by 150. Oh, okay. Let's see here. I'm getting another one of those repeating numbers. So let's see, 3.5 divided by 150. Tell you what, let's go ahead and let's simplify that. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply it by 10 over 10 to get rid of the decimal. So 35 over 1500. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Then let's divide the top and the bottom both by 5. So I get 7 over 300. Let's see. 7 divided by 300. Okay. I'm going to use that because again, that's equivalent to what I started with. It comes out with a big long repeating thing. All right. So K is 7 over 300. There's a tendency for students to want to take fractions and turn them into decimals, and then they're repeating decimals and they round them off and they get it wrong and they don't know why. So, if you're going to make mistakes, make the kind of mistakes I make where you can't read your own writing. Instead of rounding something off, you shouldn't round off. All right. So C equals 7 over 300 R. Okay. Find the current in this circuit when the resistance is doubled. So now the resistance is going to be 300. Oh, I like where this is going. Okay, let's see, 7 amps. And what? I'm just having a bad day, aren't I? Let's see. Resistance is doubled. Okay. Find a fixed voltage. The current varies inversely as the resistance. 3.5 amps, 150 ohms. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Did we
Okay.
divide by 150?
Tell me what's wrong with this problem. Can anybody tell me what's the first mistake I made?
Well, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to divide by 150, like K divided by 152.
Yeah. The first mistake that I made was I went too fast. I thought, this is just like the other problem. So I jumped right into the wrong formula.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be K divided by R.
Yeah, inversely.
Yeah.
Shame on me. I am a perfect example of what you should not do, and that is get in a hurry. Okay. So the current varies inversely to the resistance. Okay. Again, that is my biggest downfall is I hurry. And I know I've heard from some of you when you're taking the test and that clock is ticking away. I know. It's not a good thing. All right. So we've got 3.5 equals K over 150. All right. Now we're going to multiply by 150. So K is going to equal 150 times 3.5, which is 525. Now, find the current if we double the resistance. This is amps. Okay. Much better, much better.
Perfect.
So if you didn't learn anything else from me today, you should learn to slow down. Don't do it like Mr. Mayo does when he gets in a hurry. All right, what else?
That's it for me.
Is it for you? Anybody else?
Yeah.
You're all going, I don't want him to do another problem. He just gets them all wrong. That's no good. All right, well, so I will be back this afternoon at 1:15 with an office hour. Your test is scheduled for Monday, so you need to finish it by 11:59 p.m. Monday night, but you can take it anytime between now and then, but make sure that you've got, adequate time where you're not going to be interrupted. You don't have kids to take care of or bills to pay or dinner to eat or whatever, that you can sit down and undistracted. Also, remember, you're not supposed to be using notes or getting people's help or anything, looking things up on the internet. That's cheating. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. And when you're done with your test, if you want to email the work from problems that were wrong, again, don't correct the work. Send me the work that led to the wrong answers. I will look there to see if there's any partial credit I can give you. And with that, we will stop the recording.